Welcome to Rise Up with Robby, the live stream where politics, sports, and faith come together to inspire, challenge, and empower. Your host is Robby Wells, former NCAA Division I football coach, motivational speaker, author, and former presidential candidate. Every week, we will tackle today's biggest issues, explore the world of sports, and discover how faith and purpose can help you overcome any obstacle. Get ready for bold conversations and practical inspiration. It's time to rise up.
Well, hello and welcome to the next episode of the Rise Up with Robby podcast. I'm Robby Wells. I'm happy to be joining a very special guest today. His name is Coach Rick Stockstill. He is a living legend, in my humble opinion, and a lot of people that have coached against him, played against him, and played for him. He's been doing this for several decades now. So we're going to jump right into that after we come back from a brief announcement. Stay tuned.
I'm Robby Wells. I was a former college football coach, also ran for president of the United States. Understand this, you're going to go through some dark times. Some of you in here may be going through them, and that's why you're new to this business, okay? Midnight's the darkest part of any day. Just remember, midnight does not last very long, because at 12:01 it's morning, and it's time to rise up, and it's time to blast off. Understand this, you're going to get better and better and better. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. Fail big. Because if you fail big, you're going to learn from it and you're going to move on from it. But always take advice from those that have been there and they have done that. You see, whether you are black or white, young or old, male or female, a member of the LGBTQ community, whatever your religion may be, we're all very unique in this room right here. We can celebrate our differences because we've got one common bond. We are all Americans and we all work for the greatest company on the face of this planet, Family First Life.
We're back, and I am so delighted that I have got Coach Rick Stockstill, college football coach. He's been doing this for, goodness, Coach, how many decades now?
I don't know about decades, but this is my 44th year in as a college football coach.
That's unbelievable, man. I mean, you started when I was 14 years old.
Don't say that. Feels long enough already without you saying that.
But you know what? Here's one thing that these young coaches need to understand. It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, no question.
Yeah.
I'm 68 now and been doing this for a long, long time. And I was telling one of the coaches here today, we're just talking, and this will be my 62nd year of playing football. I started, when I was 6 years old and hadn't missed a fall yet.
Well, you're literally twice as many years as me. I did it for about 31 years. I played football for 30, and I consider 20 years coaching, playing, because you're getting paid to play. But I finally had to go on to a few other things. But anyway, everybody that's watching right now, let me tell you guys, we've got some dynamic people that are going to be on this podcast. And we've already, like last week, we had the world champion, boxing champion on, and we're going to have NFL greats, NASCAR greats. Today, and this guy right here is a living legend. Okay, we've got Rick Stockstill, and he is an offensive analyst. And you've gone back home. This is what's so cool. You literally have gone back home to your alma mater there at Florida State with the Seminoles. How cool is that, Coach?
Yeah, it's been exciting, and I tell people I'm not excited. I don't like the reason that I'm here. The reason I'm here is I got let go at Middle Tennessee, 2.5 years ago. So I'm not happy about the reason why I'm here, but I'm here in Florida State, and Coach Bowden, playing for him, you know, have done so much for me, prepared me for so much, not only in my professional career, but my personal life as well. So to be able to come back here and, try to give back a little bit as much as they gave me, is very rewarding, very satisfying. And, I'm excited about, being back at the place where it all started.
Well, yeah, and I'm real happy for you. And one thing you probably don't know about me, but when I was a little kid, I met Coach Bowden, and he was speaking at a youth conference, and I was only about an 8, 9 year old kid, and they had just played Georgia, and I think they came in second in the country that year. It was a long time ago, but I remember meeting Coach Bowden. He said, "Hey, why don't you start writing me?" And I did. We became pen pals for years. And then when I finally broke into college ball, it was there at USC with Brad Scott and that whole group. Coach Bowden said, "Start writing me." So I became his pen pal.
Yeah.
And then when I was up for the job there, breaking in from high school ball there at USC, it was Brad Scott that had worked with him there that called Coach Bowden. And Coach Bowden says, "Oh, yes, listen, he's persistent." Because for all those years I've been writing him letters, and he actually helped me get that job as a good reference for that. So yeah, I mean, people that are watching this right now, especially you young folks, you're actually in for a treat today. This guy was a starting quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles back, what, 77 to 81? Is that right, Coach?
Yep, exactly right, Robbie. And I didn't start those years. I was on the team
Right.
77 to 81. Then I started my last 2 years, 1980 and 81.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that was back right about the time that I did meet with Coach Bowden. So you were probably the quarterback back then. That's what
Yeah.
was so cool about it, because you're about 10 years older than me. All right, Coach. So another thing that people probably don't know is you and I actually had a chance to coach against each
Oh, yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was during your. I think you were there at Clemson for how long? 14 years.
14 years. Yes, sir. Yeah.
14 years. And I mean, you coached some good ones. I mean, you were a wide receiver coach, quarterback coach. What's the guy's name? Woodrow Dantzler.
Woody Dancer. He's still in Greenville.
Is he now?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's doing awesome.
So, Coach, take us through some of the greatest experiences you had as a coach with some of the players. I know there's had to be some that stood out, like your son Brent.
Yeah, Robbie, there's, and because you've been in the profession, but when you're in this profession, you're so humbled and appreciative of the guys you get to coach. And I coached guys when I was at Bethune-Cookman College, my first job, that I still stay in touch with. To UCF when I went there and we were Division II, guys that I still talk to. And then on to Clemson for that many years. There's so many highlights, but every once in a while on Facebook you see highlights from Clemson or at South Carolina, guys that you coached, and it always brings back great memories. But you know, Woody Dantzler, Rod Gardner, Kevin Youngblood, there's so many guys at Clemson that that were great players there that I had the opportunity to be around and coach and recruit, and uh, just made it fun. And then when I became the head coach there at Middle Tennessee, uh, we had a lot, not a lot, but we beat Maryland twice. And when you're at Middle Tennessee or schools like that,
Yep.
you're not supposed to beat, the Power Five guys. And, we beat Maryland back to back years. We beat Georgia Tech in
Beat Miami.
2000, yeah, 2012. Missouri and Syracuse were great wins for us. And then we beat Miami they were the first ranked opponent that Middle Tennessee ever beat, and still hasn't, beaten a ranked team. So, but to go on the road and beat those guys is always fulfilling. And then the opportunity, you mentioned Brent, my son, the opportunity to coach him and just be around him and watch him grow and develop as not only as a player, but as a man, as a young man growing up. And you see all the things that you wouldn't normally see if he went off to college somewhere else. So I was very blessed, very fortunate, and was able to create a lifetime of memories with all the different stops, every place I've been, and the guys that I've coached.
Well, that's just amazing. I mean, not many college coaches can say that they had the opportunity to coach their son, much
Yeah.
less to coach him at quarterback.
Yeah, and when it first started, you hear all the horror stories of coaching your son,
Right.
and so we talked about it, as junior and senior year, and go off and blaze your own path. And I had some buddies calling me, Stock, you're going to regret it. Tell him to stay with you, and I had other guys saying it'd be the best thing for him to go. So he signed with Cincinnati when
Yep.
Tommy Tuberville was there, and played baseball that spring, high school baseball, and they got beat in the regionals or whatever it was. And on the way home, I said, Brent, you're going to have a great career at Cincinnati. You've got all the intangibles, the leadership, the toughness, the competitiveness, everything that a coach wants to coach. And you're going to have a great career. And he looked at me and said, Dad, all I ever wanted to do was play for you. So
Oh my.
that hit me like a,
Yeah.
ton of bricks. So we talked a little bit more about it. And then I called Tommy, Coach Tuberville, and talked to him, and he released him from his NLI. So he was able to come to us,
Right.
there. So it was, like I said, very blessed, very fortunate, and glad I did it. And I tell dads all the time now, whether it's little league, high school, college, if you get a opportunity to coach your son or daughter, don't let it pass you by. You'll regret it more than anything because, those 5 years there with Brent, uh, I created a lifetime of memories, Robbie.
Well, I know you did, and I think it probably culminated down there in the New Orleans Bowl.
Yeah, that was the last one. We got beat that game by App State. App State got us.
Doesn't matter. You were there coaching your son, man. That
Yeah.
had to be fun.
So he led us to 4 bowl games. All 4 years, and he was just recently inducted into the Conference USA Hall of Fame this summer,
Yep.
which is a tremendous honor. So yeah, I was a lot better coach when he was our quarterback. I'll say that.
Well, they always say us coaches, we're only as good as the players that
No
surround us. And they
question. No
say if you're in it
question.
long enough, you're gonna get fired.
No
You've been
question.
there and I've been there too.
I proved that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. So with that being said, here's the big question of the day. Okay, and we'll get to Florida State in just a minute, but the big question is this: NIL.
Phew.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Okay,
It's
football,
crazy.
college football is changing.
Yeah. And you have to adapt to it, Robbie. You've got to accept it whether you like it or not. It's here. That
Right.
toothpaste is out the tube. You can't put it back in. So
Right.
this has been a big, learning experience for me too. And because when I was at Middle Tennessee, we didn't have anything. I would go around. I got our defensive line. How about this? I got our defensive line a deal at a barbecue place, uh, Slick Pig there in Murfreesboro, that
Okay.
they could go there. All the defensive linemen could go there once a month, and they could get a free meal up to $20
Okay.
once a month. Once a month, got a couple little deals like that for some other position groups, and then when I got let go, one of our defensive linemen, he went in the portal and he went to Miami, and they gave him 300,000, and I called him and I said, hey bud, that's that little $20 deal that we had once a month at Slick Pig doesn't sound like a whole bunch now, does it? And he just laughed. He said, no coach, we appreciated it though. So these guys they're getting a lot of money, and so seeing that, and just how you you've got to be very cognizant. You've got to be very smart on who you're paying on your team. And, when you're going to dabble in this portal and get these portal guys, you can't just look at, how good an athlete they are and how much you're going to pay them. You better make sure you get, the right guy in your locker room
Right.
because, I've been here, this is my third year, and we've probably brought in, counting high school guys, 45 to 60 new guys each year. So more
Yeah.
than half your team is new, and you got to make sure you have a strong culture. You establish your culture quick, and that you got guys here that, love football, and they don't just love, those dead presidents, on them dollar bills.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. And the thing that we always fought that everybody does, I'm sure you guys still do too, is getting them to love the classroom as much as they love that playing field.
Yep.
You know.
I tell you, the thing that's changed now that, and it's changed everywhere, that since COVID, I don't know if these guys go to class. I mean, everything's online, and
Right.
that's, to me, that's sad because that's where you're going to, interact with other people and meet new friends outside of the sport you play. Uh, you're not just coming over here to the facility and working out. Then you go back to your apartment or your house and you're playing the games, you
Right.
know, PlayStation all the rest of the day and night. And but yeah, everybody's, it's across the country. There's so much online stuff now.
Well, everything's so different. I mean, think about it. We're doing this podcast right now, and we're in literally two different states.
Yeah,
Whereas, if you did this probably about 15 years ago, we would have to both meet in the same location and have a studio somewhere. But
yeah,
everything has really, really changed, especially since COVID.
yeah.
You have most in business now. In business, everything is done online. Everything is done over the phone. You don't have as much interaction. In fact, you see malls across the country now that are shutting down
That's right. Yeah,
because, oh yeah, because of eBay and everything like that you see out there. So yeah, it's completely a different world. One thing that I know for sure that doesn't that is always constant. It's not going to change, and that's change. You're always going to have change.
right. No
Yeah,
question. And
yeah,
that's why I said earlier, you've got to adapt to it, whether you like it or not. It's
yep,
here, and you've got to embrace it. And you've got everybody, especially in college now, from the top of the food, the president, to your boosters, to your uh, board of trustees, all the way down to everybody in your
right,
facility, coaches, managers, trainers, everybody have to be aligned. And if you're doing this as a coaching staff, but your administration is over here, it's not going to work. And so everybody's got to be in line and pulling that rope in the same direction because it's too easy to me, Robbie. It's too easy to mess this thing up. It's a lot easier to mess it up than it is to get it right.
oh yeah. In fact, it takes a lot of effort to stay on top of it to keep it right.
No question.
Oh
No
yeah,
question.
without
Yeah.
a doubt. It's
Yeah.
it's the ones that let things slide because it's easier to let things slide when it
Yep.
starts getting messed up.
No question. Yep. You're exactly right. And you've heard all the stories about, guys were up here. It's harder to get here. I mean, it's harder to stay at the top than it is to get there. And you can't relax, especially in college athletics now and recruiting. It's sped up so much and everything.
Right.
So there's not many days off, in college athletics anymore.
Oh, listen, I know. In fact, I was telling our producer before you jumped on the podcast that I'm glad that we got you now because with the season getting ready to kick off here and just two a day practices what start in about a week, I guess.
We start tomorrow.
You start tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, wow. Thanks for
And there's
taking the
and there's
time
no
today.
there's no more 2-a-days, Robbie.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I understand. No more two a days. That's exactly right. But what I'm saying is you guys, the coaches, you guys will be putting in 18, 20 hours a day
Yeah.
for about 5.5 months straight.
Here it comes. That's what
Here it comes.
we had this last weekend off, and enjoy this one because you're not going to see another weekend off till spring break.
Basically, that's
Yeah,
right. That's exactly right. So let's switch gears a little bit now to Florida State. You got to come home.
yeah.
Okay. How cool is that to be able to actually come back and be a part of the alma mater?
I tell you, Robbie, the probably the thing that's made me the happiest is being a college coach. As you know, only time I ever was able to come to a Florida State game when I was at Clemson, and we played Florida
You played
State.
them. Yep.
But being back now, I've seen so many of my former teammates. Some of the coaches that coached me that still live here. But being able to see my former teammates, whether they come to practice or I see them at the games, that's probably been as rewarding to me as anything because you don't see those guys. It's been many, many years, since I've seen some of them. Yeah, we talk on the phone and all that, but
Yeah.
you actually be able to see them and hug their neck and, physically tell them you love them. It's, that's been as rewarding as anything. And then, when you go out here to the practice field or the game field, you're out there and you start having flashbacks of, well, I remember this game and right here, you did this and, we beat this team right here and all the Coach Bowden memories come back and everything. So it's been, like I said earlier, I don't like the reason I'm here, but I'm so thankful that, Coach Norvell and Florida State gave me this opportunity to be here.
Well, I'm glad they did too, and it was a right move. It was a very smart move on their part to actually give you that opportunity. So, what's on the horizon for you? Are you
Uh,
looking to get back to a head coaching position, or you're good there?
no,
What's
no,
going on?
I get to coach here a little bit, but not enough to satisfy my urge. And
Right.
each year I've tried to, you know, get back in the mix. A head job or a Power Four assistant somewhere. So I'm still open to that, but I'm realistic enough to know that this will be my third season where I'm not officially
Right.
coaching a position or the head coach. I'll be 69 in December. That although I'm gonna say I'm in great shape. It may not look like it,
No,
but
you look like it.
but I still run. I still exercise. I lift. I work out. So I still got the juice in me. But I'm realistic enough to know that people aren't exactly in the market for a lot of 69-year-old guys, but I still love the recruiting aspect of it. I still love the impact that we can have as coaches and the interaction with the players and other coaches. I miss the competitiveness of, game planning and playing against somebody and, recruiting against somebody. I miss those days.
Well, I'm sure, but let me just say this. One thing about those head coaching openings when they come open at the end of each season, and now, of course, halfway in the season, especially with NILs. But one thing that is for sure, every administration that's looking for a head coach is looking for something different at every school.
Right.
One may be looking for a young guy that has just been a great assistant. They're going to promote up. Another school wants a more seasoned guy like yourself that's got head coaching experience. I mean, I think about USC when they brought Lou Holtz in, and that time that he's there all of a sudden, and he lets everybody go except for three of us, and I was one of the ones that was fortunate enough to be able to stay.
Right.
But when he came in, he took that job. He was 63. Okay. So it really just depends on the school and what they're
Yeah.
looking
No,
for.
you're
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. One thing I have learned, coach, is you never sell yourself short and say, "Well, I could never do that," because if God wants you someplace, there's nobody that can get in the way of it. Nobody ever would have thought that I would have been a head coach at an HBCU because I just don't fit that that mold.
Right.
Okay, but one thing for sure, God's got a plan for all of us, and I truly believe Romans 8:28. You may have gone through a hard time over there at Middle Tennessee, but all things work together for the good for those that love God.
Yep.
I know you
Yep.
love God, Coach. I've watched you. Now I wanted to beat your tail when we played against you, and I never had the chance to actually do that. Y'all always beat ours.
We were lucky then. It goes back to what you said earlier. We must have better players than you did.
Well, y'all did. Y'all, you know what? I've always said this about championships. You got to have good coaching, good players, and a little bit of luck.
A lot of
And
luck.
those times we played you guys, y'all did. Y'all had good coaching, y'all had good players, but a couple of those games, y'all had that luck on your side too.
Yep. No question about it. I'm the first to admit it.
Awesome. Well, Coach, is there anything you'd like to tell these young guys out here that are either in high school coming up, wanting to break in and play college ball, or maybe some young coaches out there that are trying to break in to be college coaches? Any advice you want to give those guys?
Well, I think first, Robbie, you talk about high school players. If who are wanting to go to the next level to play in college, that if you want to play college football, there's a place for you. You know, South Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, you may not be good enough to play there. But if you really want to play, there's a place for you. You may have to go, group of five. You may have to go FCS. You may have to go division. You may have to go NAIA. If you want to play, if you love football, basketball, whatever sport you play, there's a place for you. So don't give up. Don't sell yourself short just because Florida State didn't recruit you or Alabama didn't recruit you. So if you want to play, there's a place for you, and it's all the same. Every football field's the same width, it's the same length. Every basketball court's the same. Every baseball diamond's the same. The outfield may be a little bit longer, but it's all the same. So, and then if you want to play, recruiting is sped up so much, man, you gotta get your name out there and go to some of these 1-day camps and all that to get that exposure. And then kind of the same thing for a young guy, whether you're a high school coach wanting to coach in college, or you're, like me and probably like you, when you got through with college, you went straight into college coaching.
Right.
And, so you use Brad Scott, you use Coach Bowden through Brad Scott to get, your foot in that door.
Right.
Brad Scott did the same thing to Coach Bowden. When he was a high school coach down here in Florida, he wrote Coach Bowden weekly. He's told me that. Coach
Yep.
Bowden's told me that. I want to be a GA for you. I want to be a GA. And that's what you got to do. Go work a camp. Go work the Clemson camp. Go work the South Carolina camp. Free. They don't need to pay you. Go work there, and then while you're there, show how hard you're working, show your enthusiasm, show how much you want to be a college coach, and that you're willing to, you know, take that GA opportunity or that volunteer opportunity or whatever it is, because and this, we live in a microwave world. Everybody wants to be the head coach at Notre Dame right now. But you can't skip first base, second base, third base to get home.
Right.
There's a process that you have to go through, and you have to work every day to get there. And there's nothing wrong with being a high school coach. It's a phenomenal career. You're still impacting young people. There's nothing wrong with being a college coach. You're impacting people, and but whatever you want to do, and this, and you got to set a goal, set a dream, and go attack it, and be relentless about it.
Well, I've always said that 90% of winning is just showing up, being in the right place at the right time. Young guy out there wanting to coach college football, and he's on the high school level, like you say, be in the right place at the right time. Go to those camps, work it for free, and let them see you. The other 10%, if that's 90% of it just being there, the other 10% is your attitude. So if they show up with a great attitude and they work their tail off, okay, during that camp, they got a 100% chance of success. It may not come overnight, but if they keep doing that over a period of several summers, it'll happen for them.
Yeah, and I've always lived by a saying. I don't know where I heard it a long time ago, but the only disability in life is a bad attitude.
Right.
And you could have all the ailments in the world, everything going against you, but if you attack that day with enthusiasm and a positive attitude, it's eventually going to work out.
Right. It is going to work out. Well, Coach, I really do appreciate you giving me about 30 minutes of your time right here the day before you're starting your season. I know y'all got a lot of work to do. You got New Mexico State, I think, that first game, right?
Yeah, go to New Mexico State, then SMU comes to us, and we go to Alabama. We're open that, but it's the third or fourth week of the season.
Well, I tell you what, you gotta go to Alabama. They're probably going to be looking out for you because of what happened last year. Y'all beat
You
them pretty
think?
good.
You think?
Yeah, y'all beat them pretty good last year.
You think they got that Florida State circled? You don't think they don't have that circled, do you?
They do. They do. Y'all better have it circled for them too. And you better
I'm
go there. You're
telling you.
going on the road. So, take your defense, take your kicking game, and take your togetherness and don't
I'm telling
flinch.
you.
There you go. That's all Lou Holtz right there. I know you worked with him 1 year too. Well, Coach, listen, I really do appreciate you coming on right now, right here the day before y'all are starting practice and everything. Any final words you want to say to anybody out there?
No, I've always respected you, have a lot of respect for you, Robbie, and this was fun. And can't find anybody to be on, whatever, but you'll have a million people. But if you ever want to catch up in the middle of the season or whatever, just holler at me. You do a great job, and I'd love to be a part of it if there's anything you need.
Well, listen, from one coaching brother to another, I love you, man. And I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my man.
Take care.
All right, bud.
What do you do when life knocks you down? You rise up. In Touchdown America, coach, speaker, and presidential candidate Robby Wells shares his remarkable journey through football, politics, adversity, and second chances. Packed with hard-won wisdom and powerful inspiration, this must-read memoir will challenge you to pursue your dreams, learn from every setback, and rise again. Get your copy of Touchdown America today.
So that was quite an interview with a living legend, Coach Rick Stockstill, who is now back home at his alma mater, Florida State University, with the Seminoles. Really, really blessed to have him on today, and we're going to have a major guest next week. He's a NASCAR driver. He was on the circuit for a good long time, and then he stepped away, retired. Now he's come out of retirement. He's actually made a couple of races, and we're actually going to talk to him right after his race at the Iowa Motor Speedway, which will be about 4 days before he's on. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 5 Eastern Time. Rise up.
Thanks for joining us on Rise Up with Robbie. If today's conversation encouraged or challenged you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this live stream with your family and friends. Join us again every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, keep your faith strong, keep moving forward, and remember, it's always time to rise up.